Welcome to St. Augustine, the nation's oldest continually occupied city of European origin in the continental United States. We are a city of diversity, from the Castillo de San Marcos and the oldest wooden schoolhouse. We celebrate what makes St. Augustine special. Different voices, different experiences, and different cultures, all joined together to create a vibrant, inclusive city like no other. During this virtual field trip, we want to challenge you to dream. Dream of the past, dream of the present, and dare to dream of the endless possibilities of tomorrow. All it takes is one small dream to change the world. Travel with us now on a voyage of discovery as we explore historic St. Augustine. Welcome to one of my favorite places in St. Augustine, the Castillo de San Marcos. Founded in October of 1672, the Castillo is more than 340 years old. My friends, this is the real deal. The Castillo is a remarkable structure. It holds many secrets and has many stories to tell, if only you will listen. Follow us as we explore this truly remarkable national monument.
The Spanish arrived in what is today St. Augustine in 1565. After more than 100 years and a series of 9 wooden forts, the Spanish realized they needed a substantial fortification. Construction of the Castillo started on October the 2nd of 1672. It took 23 years to complete. Built of coquina shellstone from nearby Anastasia Island and mortar created from crushed burnt oyster shells, this fort has withstood attack after attack. It has never been taken by an enemy. The Castillo was built for defense of the town and for storage of goods. It was not built as a prison, as many people think. In fact, it was built with only one small detention room to temporarily house the occasional unruly soldier. The flag flying over this fort has changed many times through peace treaties. After decades of the Spanish rule, the British took over St. Augustine in 1763 following the First Treaty of Paris. Unlike the Spanish soldiers, who did not live in this fort full time, the British soldiers lived here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The British modified the fort, adding windows and second floors in many of the rooms to accommodate the extra men. The British even changed the name of the Castillo to Fort St. Mark. Then, in 1784, the British left and the Spanish returned. But that return was short-lived. In 1821, the United States purchased Spanish Florida from Spain for $5 million, and Florida became a territory of the United States. The Castillo de San Marcos was once again given a new name, Fort Marion. Under the Americans, the fort became something the Spanish never intended it to be, a prison. In 1837, during the Second Seminole War, 200 Seminoles were captured under a white flag of truce and imprisoned in the fort. Between 1875 and 1876, leaders from the Cheyenne, Kiowa, Comanche, Arapaho, and Caddo were held captive in the fort. A decade later, more than 500 Apaches were held at Fort Marion. They were later forced onto a reservation in Oklahoma. Fort Marion remained an active military fort until 1933. In that year, the United States National Park Service took over the fort, which was deactivated, and it became a national monument. In 1942, the name was changed back to the Castillo de San Marcos through an act of Congress.
Take a look at these stairs that show the wear and tear of booted feet traveling up and down them for hundreds of years. Now, imagine what this place was like hundreds of years ago. No highways, no cars, no tall buildings or electricity. In that silence, listen to the voice of the past. Right here, surrounded by breathtakingly beautiful land and water, Spanish soldiers labored to build the coquina fortress that would be called the Castillo de San Marcos. Also right here, the clear, crisp cadence of a British officer speaking to his men echoed around Fort Mark. And later on, lonely American soldiers stationed here hundreds of miles from home penned letters to their loved ones in a place called Fort Marion. Finally, think about the most heartbreaking voice of all, the musical and mystical collective voice of the indigenous peoples held captive in this fort. While many tried to silence the voice of the indigenous people, that voice survives to this day through culture, language, traditions, and history. Hear all these voices and know each has a story to tell about this fort, and know you are standing in their footsteps in this very, very special place. The secrets and stories are waiting to be discovered by you in this place we call the Castillo de San Marcos.